In this video, I'll demonstrate how to filter a large data set so I only see the records that I'm interested in. So what I mean by filtering is just that. I don't want to see all 500 records. I only want to see the records from a particular office or from a particular department. Or I only want to see those people whose base salary is greater than a certain number or less than a certain number. So I want to filter the records. You go to the data ribbon, and in the middle here is a sort and filter group, and you can turn on this filter icon. And what that does is put a little drop down arrow on every column heading. Now I can choose this drop down arrow and see a list of all the values in there. For numeric columns, it could be a lot of values right there, right? But then maybe for the office, there's only 5 different values. The bottom line is I can say, so for instance, I want to see only the accounting department. I'll hit the select all button and just choose accounting. And now I'm only seeing records for the accounting department. Now, how can I tell this is filtered? A couple ways. One is there's a little filter icon on the column that's been filtered. So notice there's no icon on these columns, but there is here for department. And the other way is the blue row numbers, and notice they skip 9, 31, 32, 43, 44, and that's how I can tell that this is filtered. If I want to get rid of that filter, and because it's just on one column, I can run right here and say, oh yeah, let's get rid of that, and I'm back to the original data set. Now the other cool thing is I can filter on multiple columns, so I can say back to accounting, and within the accounting department, I only want to see our San Francisco office. So, okay, I'll choose that, and I'll choose San Francisco. So now I'm down to the accounting department in San Francisco, and I can look at the data. Now, I have multiple columns filtered, at least 2 in this case. You could keep going. I want to clear my filters. Rather than hitting this clear, I can run up to my data ribbon, and right up here is a clear button. So I hit that, and now it clears all the filters off all of the columns. Now I want to be a little more sophisticated. For whatever reason, I'm looking at people whose last name begins with T. So I can hit this, and right here I can make criteria for a text filter. Equals, does not equal, begins with, ends with, contains, does not contain. So in this case, if I'm only looking for people whose last name begins with T, I can hit OK. And now it filters all of our employees whose last name begins with T. The other thing you can do, I'm going to clear that filter. So that was text. On numeric filters, sometimes I'll have students, I'll say, show me all the people whose bonus is greater than 1,500. Well, they'll run here and they'll just sit there and unselect all of the numbers to meet the criteria. And that's not what I want you to do. If I'm saying show me all the people whose bonus is greater than a particular number, well then it's much more efficient to run up here to number filters and add in a requirement. And then again, equals, does not equal, greater or less than or equal to, between, top 10, above average, below average. So I want to see all the people whose bonus is above average. Boom, there it is. If I want to see all the people whose greater than a particular number, I can put that in and hit OK. And now that's all the people whose bonus is greater than 2,500. So make sure, I'm going to clear these filters, especially on numeric filters, that you're using the criteria rather than unselecting or selecting everything. Very often when you're talking just a few records, yeah, it's probably easier just to click on the one you want or take off the couple that you don't want than it is to go text filter must contain certain letters. But if you're looking for all the people with T in their name, maybe it's quite a few. Right? And so I just would rather go with the text filter and say it must contain or begins with the letter T. So make sure you're using these things efficiently. And that's it about filters.